Hey, what does Jeff Bezos' ex-wife do? An amazing story of a cheerful giver. You must have heard of the famous quotes, "Giving is better than receiving." Only standing people can lift the fallen ones. Only rich people can change the life of the poor ones. This world is filled with two kinds of people, the privileged and the unprivileged. The privileged have all types of sources to fulfill their unlimited wants, while the unprivileged are struggling to meet their daily needs. The poor in the world is full of needs, but the resources are less. In history, we could see many kind-hearted privileged in every age in different parts of the world. They didn't bother to increase the wealth. Rather, they were worried about the needs of the poor. They went the extra mile to help the poor and needy people out of their wealth. Here is the story of one such person, MacKenzie Scott, who dedicated herself to help the poor and needy from her wealth. Did this name strike your mind? Have you heard this name somewhere before? Well, yes, you did. She's the ex-wife of the famous Amazon founder, Jeff Bezos, and the fourth richest woman with $53 billion in assets. She helped Bezos in creating Amazon. They had a good married life for 25 years. Scott divorced Bezos when she came to know about his affair with Lauren Sanchez in 2019. At the age of 50, she married Dan Jewett, a science teacher of Seattle Lakeside School, in which the 4 children of the Bezos-Scott couple were studying. It's one of the costliest schools, which cost $38,000 per year. Remember, the famous alumni of the school is Bill Gates. The Scott-Jewett couple first mentioned their marriage in a post on Giving Pledge. It's a popular site in which millionaires and billionaires vow to dedicate their wealth to others. It was created by Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett. Steve and Gene Case, Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan, and Sarah Blakely are some of those who took the pledge. Scott is an author and generous humanitarian. She's changed her Amazon biography page to stating she lives with her 4 children and newly married husband, Dan, in Seattle. Both Dan's and Scott's minds were tuned for the same commitment. The wealth should be used to serve others' well-being. Dan says, "I've been a teacher for the majority of my life, as well as a grateful student of the generosity of those around me. This has meant doing my best to follow their example by passing on resources of all kinds, from time to energy to material possessions, when I've had them to give. And now, in a stroke of happy coincidence, I'm married to one of the most generous and kind people I know, and joining her in a commitment to pass on enormous financial wealth to serve others." Dan admitted he never imagined in his life that he would have such a huge amount of money to pledge for this noble campaign. He knew that this was only possible by the wealth of his new wife, MacKenzie Scott. In his post on the site, Dan mentioned he was joining his wife's commitment to pass on enormous financial wealth to serve others. After their divorce, 75% of their stock was kept by Bezos, and Scott received the shares worth $35 billion at that time. Now she made a great decision for a noble cause to give away her wealth to the poor. She gave away almost $6 billion last year alone. This left her with a 4% stake in Amazon, which translates to 19.7 million shares. In July 2020, she had donated more than $1.5 billion to many nonprofit universities, community development groups, and legal organizations. In December 2020, she had given away $4.1 billion to many organizations which were financially affected badly due to COVID-19. In 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, when Amazon shares increased, her wealth also surged another $30.3 billion. All these she did after divorcing Bezos. Scott's recent donation accounts for $2.7 billion to 286 different organizations. Now, her total charitable donations have increased to $8.5 billion since last July. In the year 2020 alone, Scott has donated 9.4% of her fortune, while Bezos has donated only 2% of his total wealth over the last 10 years. A Medium post narrated that Scott and her new husband, Dan, are attempting to give away a fortune that was enabled by systems in need of change. Some of their recipients are higher education institutions, organizations fighting ethnic and religious discrimination, arts and cultural institutions, and community engagement groups. Currently, Scott is the 22nd richest person in the world. Out of her total wealth, which is a net worth of $59.8 billion, nearly 10% of her fortune has been donated by her to different organizations. Amazing, isn't it? One of the donation recipients of Scott was the Bama Project, a Kenya and Vermont-based nonprofit which supports women's empowerment and education, which got $10 million. It posted on its Twitter page, "This gift will allow Bama to accelerate and expand its work across Africa to reach millions of women and families. The pandemic has pushed millions worldwide into extreme poverty, and there's an urgent need for sustainable solutions." Many colleges, including the University of Central Florida, received the largest donation in its history at $40 million. On its Twitter page, it wrote that the funds will fuel social mobility, student success, academic excellence, and faculty research for generations to come. When she donated $1.7 billion to 116 charitable causes over the previous year, $586.7 million of which went to racial equity and justice causes, the charity world was speechless. Bezos, who is first on the blooming billionaires list, has not yet signed the giving pledge. But Scott, who is 22nd on the list, has donated more than 10% of her fortune. Encouraged by his ex-wife's charity works, who knows, maybe he'll donate a little more for charity in the future. Now, there's a question. If you're rich or rich enough to help others, would you do charity cheerfully? Let's think about the words of Scott. In this effort, we are governed by a humbling belief that it would be better if disproportionate wealth were not concentrated in a few hands, and that the solutions are best designed and implemented by others. Always remember the two quotes at the beginning of this story. Giving is better than receiving. Only standing people can lift the fallen ones. Only rich people can change the life of the poor ones.